11 acts will perform, only 5 will go through. We're going to be breaking all this down and more. This is the AGT AfterBuzz show, Semifinals. Let's hit it.
You're tuned in to AfterBuzz TV, the ESPN of TV talk. Now, let the buzz begin.
What is up? That's right. I love it. We've got our boom, 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 boom lights up in the house for America's Got Talent. How is everyone doing out there in AfterBuzz TV land? So nice to have you guys here. So much to go through on this episode, but I want to get straight into unfortunately, Justina wasn't able to be with us today. She had a flight mess up. We love you, we love you, love you, and we can't wait to have you back next week. But the show must go on, so we have got Antoine Baynes here.
I'm still here because I don't got nothing else to do.
Michael Jackson impersonator, Vegas performer, yes, so excited to continue to talk about this amazing show with you. I'm Rachel Swindler. I was on a reality show called Big Brothers, so love the reality world. Also lived in Vegas for 6 years, performed in many different shows, gigs around town. So I absolutely love this show and love talking about Vegas in general because I honestly miss it so much.
I do too, man. Vegas is one of the entertainment capital of the world, period, if I'm not mistaken. I want to say
it's very high up there. I have so many great friends that do so many things, and we're going to get into all of that coming up. We've got the hot news. We've got a special segment where we're actually going to go through some of the best of Las Vegas in 2019, including a past AGT winner, so you're going to want to stay tuned for that. So Antoine, want to get right into it for overall thoughts of this episode. Tell me how you felt.
Well, like I said, Vegas has to be the top 3 entertainment places to be in the world. This is why we're doing it. It's to get a spot to find a Vegas act. Tonight, I believe I seen at least 3. So overall, at least 3.
At least 3.
And the most 5 or 6, but. That's good because today's show was nothing but veterans doing what performers does, and that's tear the house down. I want to say at least 8.5 out of 10 just to give a ratio. Performers tonight rock the house.
Awesome. So you're saying how many acts did you think really raised the bar tonight?
Raised the bar. We had some originals. We had a few of those. I want to say a good solid 4.
A good solid 4.
A good solid
nice.
4.
And we're going to get into those predictions too, because I'm sure you've got some hot predictions, as I do as well, which I can't wait to get into. But my overall thoughts of the episode were just wow. I mean, I don't know. Maybe not wow. I don't know. I thought that I'm a little indecisive today. No, I will say there were some that really stepped up to the plate, and there were some that unfortunately that were some of my favorite that didn't step up to the plate, which we'll get right into. But I want to just go ahead briefly and recap everybody on last week's live results. So the AGT results from last week that got through were the Detroit Youth Choir, Iman Bisha, Eric Chen, who we saw perform tonight, Dom Chambers, Benicio Bryant, who performed tonight, Jackie Fabulous, who performed tonight, and Marcin, I'm not going to butcher your last name, who was the guitarist. So eliminated was Mackenzie, Gonzo, Lucas and Falco, Barry Wham, and Matthew Richardson. Antoine, are you surprised by any of the acts that didn't get through?
You know what? I'm happy that the acts who did not... I told you guys, if you watched last week's episode, I said Marcin and Falco and Mackenzie was going to share Lyft shared because they was headed to the airport because they were not going to make this the quarterfinals.
The semifinals.
They're not going to make it to the semifinals.
Yeah.
So I said it because I felt in that performance that if the audience voted for them and they got over it, we must have been watching 2 different shows.
Yes.
So I'm not surprised at all.
Were you surprised Jackie Fabulous was in the Duncan save? What we saw on the last live results episode was, which we haven't seen in, correct me if I'm wrong, we haven't seen in past ones, we saw 2 acts that were in the Duncan save go through, which was Jackie Fabulous. The ones in the top 3 were Jackie Fabulous, Lucas and Falco, and Marcin. So those were the 3 acts in the bottom. I was personally very surprised, as was Howie, on Jackie being in the bottom 3. Were you surprised last week that she was in the bottom 3?
I was stunned to even think that she had a chance to
go home.
Yeah, to go home.
Yeah.
Like, what are we doing here, people? Did you not? Her presentation, you can go down every characteristic of a great performance. She nailed it all.
Yeah.
Checklist done.
And and 100%. I was very surprised to see Jackie and Marcin in the Duncan save, but so glad they both got through. So let's kick it off then with this episode that we watched tonight. We saw 11 acts, only five are going to go through. Let's get right into the first act. Ndlovu, the youth choir from Africa. Howie said, "You sound beautiful. You looked beautiful." Stepped up their game. Simon said, "A way higher league than anything that they've done." What do you think?
I agree. Tonight's performance definitely I think set the standard. The bar has just been made higher because you have another choir group, which is the Detroit Youth Choir. What's up, guys? It's back at home. That's where I'm from. I always like to say this in case if you're just tuning in. But they actually they outdone the Detroit Youth Choir in many ways. I like the solo. I like that's something different. They wasn't just singing together the entire time. She grabbed the microphone and showed her individual skills as an artist. And she had a voice, the choir carry. They were in sync with the dance. It just so much creativity, and again the culture. I felt like I was just somewhere on the island. It took me there.
Yeah, I mean, I know I've been a little hard on the choirs, definitely last week with the Detroit Youth Choir, but this was one of my favorite acts of the night, and I never thought that I would say that, but I mean, 100% they stepped up, and I think for me, comparing them to the Detroit Youth Choir, I think that they are way better.
No. One second. I just want to say, you're right. You're right.
Yeah,
you're right.
I mean, 100%. They did sound beautiful. The president of South Africa actually tweeted them. I mean, they really did step up. I saw the pride and joy of South Africa in what they were doing. I agree with you. I loved the girl that sang. I thought that she was very good, and they did sing. They did do a more current song, I believe, or did they? No, I know that they sang still. I'm not 100% sure, but whatever they did, the remake that they did was absolutely beautiful. So congrats to them on really stepping up the game and showing us what an AGT semifinals performance should be like. Another performer that we saw tonight that I don't think necessarily showed us what a semifinals performance was Ansley Burns. Now, as they showed us in the recap in her first bit, she's had a really rough road here on America's Got Talent, with Simon stopping her twice during her performances, saying that the backing track was too much. I have a lot of opinions on her performance. Antoine, what are your opinions on Ansley Burns, who was the Duncan save on her last?
Well, she drowned today.
Oh.
She has a better chance surviving the It movie than coming out of that alive than going to the finals tonight. At the beginning of the performance, her voice matches her age. To me, that's a takeaway. And it's nothing, she can't do anything about that. Her voice will eventually grow with the more she mature, you know what I mean? But we have vocalists on set that are phenomenal, astonishing. And when you bring in her to the stage, it's a little bit, her presentation is not there. Her stage presence, which will match her presentation, does not equal anything that I've ever seen as far as the ones that will make it to the finalists. Yeah, man. And then, like you said, you mentioned it. Something like she messed up in the middle or something like that.
So again, Ansley, I believe she's from South Carolina. Shout out, because I'm from South Carolina. So I absolutely love her and her beginning video. She's so freaking cute, so funny. So I know, and exactly what the judges kept saying over and over. This is why she was saved. She has the personality that you want to root for. She's the type of person that you want to win America's Got Talent, because she is so engaging and her personality is so relatable. But like I said about her in the beginning, and why I still think that she should not be going through, she's just too young. She's point blank in the period. She's too young to be on this show. It's too much pressure, and especially for somebody who has gone through the journey that she's gone through, that has to affect her mentally, you know, and being as I was on a reality show, and I hate to bring it back to that, it's a lot of pressure. It's so much. And when you get out of the thick of it, it's even more pressure to step up. So hopefully, and I'm sure that she's surrounded and she has a great support system by her, because I don't think that she's going to get through.
And I'm going to say this, based on people's story, and I know Simon said he wanted the audience to judge her, not on tonight's performance, but the whole time that she was on AGT. But however, America shouldn't have to fall in love with the story to fall in love with the talent. You know what I mean? I would love to see, which I have tonight, talent actually shining through that overlaps the story. No, I don't feel like Ansley Burns should be given another break, because actually it was a tweet in a news article earlier before the show aired. Has Ansley Burns had enough chances? And that was the headline for it. And we let you be the judge. Please comment below. Let us know what you think.
Yeah, I mean, I do think that this is the end of the road for her, but I do love her, and I do hope that she takes this experience and turns it into a positive, because it could, you know, depending on the support system and her thinking, because she is so young. So I do wish the best for Ansley Burns, and I hope that she comes out of this, you know, bigger and better. And somebody who definitely went bigger and better tonight, even with a broken foot, the Masoudi brothers. I loved them tonight, and I've always loved them. They've never disappointed, in my opinion, since they've been on the show. But I'll go ahead and start with you on what you thought of the Masoudi brothers.
Well, I thought they was super sexy, y'all. I love the ladies, but they was hot. Now, the strength and conditioning you have to pull something like that off is just unhuman-like. It was very well put together. The choreograph and everything was well thought out. They actually took Simon's advice, and to me, that was a hint to, even though Simon did take some of the credit, but that was a hint to them, because they met up to the challenge and went over and beyond. I mean, for a minute, I thought they were going to hurt themselves. Dude broke his foot, like you mentioned, came back, did the exact same trick, felt the confidence after finishing it, and they were just... and man, I mean, from start to finish, I was entertained. And Magic Mike is not even the type of show that I would personally buy a ticket to go see, but
I would.
I was entertained. I know you would, Rachel.
I've been to Magic Mike.
See, I walked past, but I never won a ticket though.
Well, you know, I went inside Magic Mike. Well, that sounded weird. So, but Magic Mike. Speaking on that, just to go ahead and get that parallel right there. They were compared tonight to Magic Mike, and they were giving me Magic Mike and Chippendales vibes so much. And this is why I love them. This is why I've loved them from the beginning. They are a Vegas act, 100%, no question whatsoever. You know, I'm just gonna go ahead and say it. Sex sells in Vegas. It does. And those three men, they're hot. Okay, and they started out with the "Ride It, My Pony," and I said yes, 100% yes. I was in a Vegas show. It was a spoof show. It was a spoof style show, and we opened up. We did a whole "Ride It, My Pony" act, because it's I believe in Chippendales they do it, but it was a spoof on Chippendales. But we had two gay men doing it. So that's what I'm saying. They made it relevant and current to Las Vegas and what is hot right now. They also did an audience participation act to show what their own show could be in Las Vegas. Perfect example of that. They were sexy, fire. Simon said, the advice I gave you really helped you. Okay, Simon. But Gabrielle said that she was galloping along.
All right. See, slow down, guys.
Standing ovation. In my opinion, the Massaudi brothers were one of the best of the night.
You know what? I would agree. They were definitely one of the best of the night. Definitely. I know why the ladies probably enjoyed them, especially in the live audience at the Dolby Theater. So,
no question that the ladies are going to love the Massaudi brothers. But another act that I have loved from the beginning, maybe not as much with you have loved from the beginning, but curious to hear your opinion tonight on him and if you thought he stepped up his game. Tyler Butler Figueroa. I have my opinions. Tell me what you thought of his performance tonight.
Well, it was a performance. It definitely hit the charts. It was live and it was there. It's something that just wasn't working for me. It's not that it was not.
You're like treading on water not to piss me off, but it's fine.
I'm trying.
It's okay. It's
Wait
okay.
till you work out. She got them arms on, so I gotta watch what I say.
I'm like, don't you talk about my Tyler Butler.
Tyler, the one thing that it does for me is it doesn't give me that wow factor.
Okay.
That's just simply put as it is. And like I mentioned earlier about Ansley Burns, I don't want to necessarily fall in love with the story more than I fall in love with your talent. I mean, they coincide, yes, but this is America Got Talent, not America Writes Stories, and it's not. Go ahead, girl.
No, it's fine. It's fine. I'm just curious because tonight I know a lot of what you have said is that he plays along to just music and a track. Right. And if you heard the notes that he got tonight from Simon and Sean, they both commented on his fabulous musicianship.
Yeah, for sure.
For which for me, again, I'm a singer. I know when people are hitting right notes though, but I'm not technically a musician. So there are some things, especially with the violin, that I'm not as educated on. So to hear Sean say that he plays the piano and how difficult it is to jump up and down and be able to hit the notes that he was able to, and Simon commenting on how amazing his musicianship was, does that not, in your mind, kind of change a little bit of your view?
Here's my thing. I feel better that no matter what, like I mentioned in the last week's news and gossip, this guy's going to get a record deal, period. His money is on the table. That's already in stone, so let's not worry about his, like, after the show. Tyler's going to be fine. That's out the way. The notes were great. I actually heard the notes and the little insignificant things that he were doing to actually show his technical skills on the violin. However...
Oh gosh, here's this however.
There is nothing else that's like, wow. And I'm going to ask you, I'm looking dead into the camera. Would you pay to see 90 minutes or 70 minutes of Tyler in Las Vegas? Let you be the judge.
Comment below if you would pay money to see Tyler Butler Figueroa actually play. And I will say, the one thing I will agree with you on about Tyler is that as I did feel like the game stepped up a little bit, but I still wanted more. Like last week when we talked about there being a DJ involved. I would have loved to have seen a DJ incorporated in his performance because they had the lightsabers, and he did do a little dancing, and like he had a slow section that he did where he turned to the camera around. So I thought he gave us some different levels to where I could go, okay, because this is the semifinals. This is where you step up your game. So I did in that aspect. I thought he raised it a little bit, but I wanted more. I did. Right. His performance left me wanting more. But I do think that he should go through, and I do think that he will go through because of his story and because of his talent.
Okay, fair enough.
Fair enough. So I'm glad we got agreed on that.
Yeah. Hey, I'm not about to say nothing else now. I want to be in the chokehold.
Well, let's see if we agree on this next act, which is Greg Morton. Greg Morton, the impressionist, which I can really respect an impressionist because I love doing impressions myself. So, thoughts on Greg Morton?
Well, my thoughts is great. I actually used to love doing a few impressions until my impressions were canceled. One of them was Bill Cosby. And the pudding popping off. But You know where
That
he
was
is
actually pretty
now.
good. That was pretty good.
So
Not as good as my Britney. Yeah.
okay.
I think.
Get on. Give it up. We got Britney Spears in the building, ladies and
So
gentlemen.
you know I can do some stuff.
I was not expecting it, so we know how difficult and challenging those things can be.
Mm-hmm.
I just think he was a little bit all over the place. I do concur with Simon just a tad bit, because usually if you pay attention to the auditions in the previous act, he kind of takes you on a journey of a story. Now the first one was Star Wars, and the second one I kind of get it confused, but it still was a journey to the end being some type of punch. So this one, I think he was kind of taking you through generations of cartoons. I personally loved it because I got everything. Just my
You got every single one impersonation that he did.
Because I used to be a class clown. You probably could tell, but oh dang, okay.
I got some of we'll keep going. I got some of them, but I didn't get all of them. So I got lost like Simon did.
And that happens.
Would you pay money to see him?
At the I take my kids if they had like a special or
they had a
Sesame Street
discount.
come through. Yeah, they had a discount. You know, sometimes you get for free and you still pay too much. So he's not one of those, but because he took you through 60s, 70s, and 80s talent, I don't think he reached the early 2000s, late 90s until he did SpongeBob. So my only thing with him was, will he captivate all the masses of people that watch AGT that probably are not familiar with the 60s and 70s?
Yeah, I mean, with Greg Morton, I loved the opening package on I love a lot of the opening packages that they have, but I loved that he did Scooby-Doo. These were the ones that I caught that I remembered: Scooby-Doo, The Simpsons, and SpongeBob. Those were the three shows that I caught. I know there was some. Was there Back to the Future reference as well?
Elmer Fudd.
But
Bugs Bunny.
Bugs Bunny. Yeah, so he was going with some more old school cartoons.
Jefferson, stuff like that.
Yeah. I liked at the end when he said, "That's all, folks." So I thought that was cute.
Yeah.
That he did that at the end. I just, for me, I wasn't following along with him. Like Simon said, I was getting really confused. I would like more of a theme that lasts longer than 10 seconds. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, he would do something for 10 seconds and then would switch and then switch and then switch and then switch. And so my brain is like, huh. And so I was getting confused. So I would like for him to take me on a journey of like a whole entire scene. I would love for him maybe to have other impressionists. Like, I'm talking like a bigger stage, maybe more impressionists, or just more of a scene and more of an act.
Would you agree the first one, when even though Star Wars wasn't your thing, right?
Yeah.
But at least he was consistent.
One. Yeah, it was just Star Wars.
He took you literally through every movie of Star Wars. So even if you'd have stuck with SpongeBob and just did like some type of made up scene, because SpongeBob got a plethora of characters as well. He could have did Squidward or Mr. Krabs and walked us through some type of, I don't know, some type of shenanigans from that, right?
Yeah. I mean, if we go through the comments that the judges made, Simon said that he was not a fan. He was a fan until tonight. It was all over the place. And again, I said I agreed with him. Howie said he nailed it. And he said, I've been married for 4 years, and that doesn't get done a lot.
Wow.
I thought that was funny. And then Sean said he was very impressive, which, again, and I didn't even say this at the beginning. We did have a guest judge tonight, Sean Hayes. He's a huge fan of the show. Jack McFarland on the NBC hit show Will and Grace. If you remember that, Primetime Emmy winner, 4 SAG Awards, 1 American Comedy Award, and 6 Golden Globe nominations. Sorry about that. But he's very amazing. So he knows comedy extremely well, and thought Greg Morton was very impressive. So who knows? I think that he's definitely a contender to go through, but I don't know if it was enough. So we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, and I mean, it's like you said, we have to wait and see. Consistency would have been better for me as well. And I'm still a fan of Greg Morton, but hopefully the audience paid attention and we have more older people that will selectively put him through.
Of course. And before we get into our next act, which is Cody Lee, which was amazing tonight, which we'll go more in depth in. But we want to tell you guys how much we love you. So,
yes, guys, we love you guys so much. Thank you for making us the ESPN of Talk TV. So please continue to watch us, subscribe. Please hit that like button and comment. Give us a 5-star freaking rating. AfterBuzz have been good to me and also good to my co-host Rachel here. Yes. And hopefully we become a big part of your afternoon, morning, and night. So wake up, go to sleep, tell your friends, ask about us. We're here. AfterBuzz will entertain you.
That's right. Thank you, guys. ESPN of Talk TV. We love you guys. And someone else that we love tonight, I think we're in agreement on, and I know our girl Justine loves this act. Cody Lee.
Oh man. Shout out to Justine. What's up, girl?
I have no notes. I always laugh because once there's an act that comes on where I literally write no notes, this is Cody Lee. I had no notes about him.
Simply amazing. He hit keys that I didn't think he could. He was in ranges that I wasn't familiar with.
And he went
him.
into his falsetto.
Yeah, he definitely hit the falsetto a lot, and he owned the song.
Yeah, I mean, and then the judges, Gabrielle, you just keep changing the world in tears. Simon, your story is unbelievable, but it's your talent. It's one of the most special, talented contestants. His breath was taken away. Sean said, you're nothing short of extraordinary. And Howie said, you are magic. So, standing ovation. Again, there's not much to really say about Cody Lee, but that he is a phenomena.
No, seriously, I think, is he not the face of AGT this season?
At this point, he is the face of AGT.
All right. I think since the moment he walked in an audition, he became Mr. America's Got Talent.
Yes, he does have a huge following, and I thought that his performance this week was better than the previous performance he had. So, in my opinion, he stepped up his game tonight.
I agree.
Not that there's many more steps to go up, but he's definitely stepped up his game. Somebody else that the judges didn't think exactly stepped up their game, Jackie Fabulous, which is one of my favorite acts. And I'd have to agree a little bit with Simon. I still thought she was really funny, but I did agree with Simon that there seemed to be a little bit of her energy and her spirit that was taken away in her performance.
Yeah,
what did you think?
I think that her being in the dunking pool gave her some type of discouragement, discouraged her from tonight's performance because she did better last week than she did today. Mm-hmm. I thought last week was flawless. And for her to still do that would hurt anyone. For you to still do a perfect job from start to finish, the backdrop, the JF, and the intro, everything was from start to finish great last week. And then to get in the dunking pool,
yeah,
that would take a hit on anyone's confidence. So
yeah, I'm sure that it did take a hit on her confidence. And when I was watching her again, I hate to relate it back to being on a high. Like when I got Big Brother, when I was on that show, when I was on national television, and really in the thick of it, it was one of the biggest highs of my life. I was like, this is it. I've reached my pinnacle. And to get up on that high and then for it to all be taken away from you in a split second is really, really, really difficult. And I feel like maybe what you were saying about being in the Duncan save and being at the bottom, which we saw with Ansley Burns tonight when she forgot her lyrics. And, I thought the judges were way too nice to her. But, we saw people fumble tonight like a Jackie and the Ansley who have been at the bottom. But we've also seen with the choir who was at the bottom who stepped up their game. So it's all about your perspective and how you take the experience. And I also want to say, because I work at a rooftop lounge in Glendale. Don't come find me though. Well, come find me.
I'm gonna come find you.
But I ran into Mackenzie, the singer, after the live show. He was sitting at my restaurant, and I walked up to him, and I told him that I understood how it felt to be on a high and be so high up and feel like everything's going right for you, and then for everything to drop down. And I gave him a little pep talk, if you will, and told him that everything will get better, and to take this experience as
Was he by himself?
No, he's with his parents.
Okay.
It's the two ladies. It's his mother, I think, and maybe his grandmother. I'm not sure. But yeah, I really, really did feel for him coming from there. So just a shout out that, that interaction did happen, Mackenzie. But shout out to Mackenzie.
Shout out to Mackenzie.
Keep going for your dreams. Everybody keep going for their dreams that has gotten in a roadblock. Because I know I've felt that way so many times in my life. And I'm sure you have too.
Yeah.
So just keep going. Just keep going. And somebody that did keep going was Robert Finley tonight, playing the guitar, which was very different for him. Bluesy soul. What I want to pay to see this didn't really blow me away, but I loved his high notes. Simon said, not had the band, would it have been a better connection? Not quite the moment that he was looking for. Howie, you're so authentic, you're so real. A little bit split. What were your thoughts?
I have to go with Javi on this one, man. Well, both, because I do think that if he would just use light, small acoustics or something like that, maybe he had the girls in the background, you would have felt it more. But it's still, like how we said, brought you to that place, like a old, not a Western, a bluesy Louisiana vibe. Like I grew up listening to Barry White, Teddy Pendergrass, Marvin Gaye, and Al Green, and I want to say this guy, especially, he was also a one besides Cody Lee that was hitting different falsettos. So he reminded me of an Al Greenish, Teddy vibe, you got what I need. It was just that he definitely made me want to go like, man, everybody put this on. Let me rub them toes.
Yeah,
rub them toes.
He was definitely so bluesy and soulful, and took me back somewhere that I haven't been before. I definitely thought he stepped up his game this week prior to his other performance that I saw. So I thought he actually was pretty good tonight. I don't know if it's enough to get through, but I thought he was really good. Our next performance, though, that really upset me with the judges' reactions, and I'm curious to get yours, was Eric Chen, who has been one of the best acts we've seen. Last week, fumbled a bit with Simon being his biggest critic, saying you need to do something bigger and you need to do something better. And this apparently was not bigger and better for Simon. I agree slightly, but I still think he's incredibly talented. What are your thoughts?
I'm sorry, I have to agree with Simon on this one. That guy was boring, man. Yeah, Eric Chen, he just, my hands, look at him. My fingers is in the air. Oh, that's all I got. I see you're talented. I feel you. But can you blow me away? You're a magician, for goodness sake. I was expecting him to listen to Simon just like the Masadi brothers listened to him and make it bigger and better. Womp, womp, womp.
Yeah, the only thing that I would have really have loved to have seen, if you've seen anything like David Copperfield does, he has an entire plane at the end of his show. Something when he was doing the whole different countries and like the Leaning Tower of Pisa and all these different things and places in the world, I was expecting the curtains to open in the back and something to be revealed, like Mount Rushmore or something. I don't know.
What was the magician last week? What was his name?
Dom Chambers.
Girl, that's his name. Dom Chambers made Tape Face appear.
I know, and Dom Chambers is amazing, and I definitely think at this point Dom Chambers has one up on Eric Chen.
He made a whole person appear.
No, he did, and that's why I'm agreeing that Eric Chen, we wanted just a bit more. We needed more. We needed bigger. I needed a plane or the Leaning Tower of Pisa or Mount Rushmore to appear behind you, and I didn't get that, so that upset me. But I do love what he does. It's so specific and so magical. And something that they did say, that Gabrielle did say, was she was a little confused from their advantage point, which is interesting to me because maybe they didn't get the full effect of what I feel like maybe we got more of an effect.
Man, he made some action figures appear on a stage.
But what I'm saying is because it's such a close-up act, it is better if you're watching it from a television screen. So I think America will understand what he did more than the judges understood. But that sucks that he got such negative-ish feedback from them, I feel.
Right, that's true.
But one act that didn't get negative feedback was Light Balance Kids, which I want to get to through very quickly. They did a Marvel-themed, they had Living on a Prayer, which I loved that they did this. Audience with lightsabers. Strange ending, I put, but I don't know, just super cool. Your opinions.
Next, get him out of here.
You don't like the light balance kids?
No, not at all. I think they're cheesy. I think they're. I'm not trying to come off as mean, but I think they rely too much on their technical prowess versus the physical, and that the physical it shows me skills, and I don't say that's cheating, but it's more technical savvy than anything else.
Yeah, I still think it's a really important where they put their bodies. They clearly look like they're very talented dancers, in my opinion. And I still think, I know what you're trying to say. You're trying to say it's more technical based than talent based. So I get that a little bit, but I do think what they do brings a lot of talent. And the judges definitely agree. Simon, that was a semifinalist performance, and ate his own words and said he was wrong. Howie, most clear Vegas act in the show. Build a room for them. Julianne, I've enjoyed what you've done. But did get some pushback from Julianne, who said, I've enjoyed the other stuff you've done better, saying that you're your own brand and you don't have to step into the Marvel world, which was interesting. And I do want to say here, thank you so much for being in our group chat. We did have Azad. I don't know if I'm saying that right. Azad. Shinlin last year was unbelievable. It really set the bar so high for Eric Chen. I feel it kind of has hurt Eric because of that, which I would agree to, and I'm sure Justine would agree with that as well, because she always talks about Shinlin.
Yeah, she does. Shout out.
So yeah, light balance kids, great. But another act, we got to get to our final act of the night before we get into our top 5 predictions and our new segment and our special segment as well. Benicio Bryant doing an original song, a very inspirational song. Some of the lyrics: underneath it all, I'm scared to lose it all. I'm scared to crash and fall. Simon said, pretty outstanding. I'm going to see you at the finals in 2 weeks. Julianne created an entire world to join. Gabrielle said 2 hit original songs. Howie, I take it back what I said. You could win the entire show. Thoughts?
Well, that all was a lie to me, in my personal opinion. He had on some Garth Brooks jeans, which is nice. His pants is stylish as Steve Urkel. All of that is great, but the song, I couldn't really understand the lyrics. He did not explore his vocal attributes that everyone else kind of stepped outside the range. Mind you, you got Cody Lee, pianolist and vocalist. You got Robert Finley coming up with his own originals and still hitting different notes. I kind of heard the same tempo, and I wrote this down in my notes throughout his entire song. It was no switch ups that would give me that energy to where I say, like, man, he got the look, he got the style, he even got penmanship because he wrote the song, but he's missing something.
Well, there I will say that there is something about Benicio that's it's relatable, and you want to root for him, and I do love him, and I think that he's a great vocalist. I was not as blown away as the judges were, but like I said, I think it was more of the message that he was putting out there than anything. Yeah. I think it was more of the message, because like I said, talking about scared to lose it all, and what a moment that he's having on that stage at that point in his life, that he's singing those poignant lyrics. So I just think it was more about the message and not really.
Yeah, because he sounded like his nose was stopped up or something, like he had a common cold. Like, seriously.
Yeah, well, it'll be very interesting to see if he does go through. But I want to go ahead and get into our special segment for tonight, and that is our special segment is our 2019 Best of Las Vegas winners. And I wanted to go into this because just to show you guys and remind ourselves of what America's Got Talent can actually lead to. And one of the best strip headliners who won, it was a Reader's Choice. Best strip headliner was Terry Fader. The Mirage is performed at the Mirage. He's a season 2 America's Got Talent winner. So just something to look forward to and to remember where this can lead to. And it's so cool that you can go from this show and just create such a beautiful platform for yourself. And America's Got Talent creates so many amazing platforms for people. Some of the other 2019 Best of Las Vegas were Best Family Jam were the Bronx Wanderers, which is at the Matt Franco Theater in the Link. Best Updated Show. This is a new show. Actually, one of my great friends, Jackie Watrowski, is in the show. It's Elvis Presley's Heartbreak Hotel at the Harris Showroom. And another Best of Las Vegas, Reader's Choice Best Production Show is Absinthe, which is at Caesar's Palace. Absinthe, I could see the Massaudi brothers in Absinthe in a second.
Most definitely.
Yeah. So that's our special segment, but I want to get into our hot news segment after that. So hit us with the hot news, Antoine.
Yay! We got some hot news. My man Terry Crews opened up about his secret to a 30-year successful marriage, claiming that freedom and choice, making time for his woman, because she's I want to say, gospel singer, and he does multiple things on the side, including hosting AGT. That they make time for each other. And congratulations for Terry Crews on his 30 years to his wife.
Yeah.
Not only has Terry Crews been spending time with his wife, he also been spending time sending his thoughts and prayers to Kevin Hart. Kevin Hart recently was in a car accident, and a really bad car accident, and had to undergo back surgery. Recently, I want to say, was it yesterday or earlier or late last night? So our thoughts and prayers goes out to Kevin Hart, but Terry Crews has been keeping it close with him and just hoping him the best, get well soon.
Speedy recovery.
Yeah, speedy recovery. There you go.
Yeah.
Now, former host Nick Cannon receives backlash because Lori Harvey, which is Steve Harvey's daughter, used to date Sean Puffy Combs, P. Diddy, at the age of 49, and Lori Harvey is 22. Let us know what you think about that, because Nick Cannon let us know when he said that he will feel like he failed as a father if he was Steve Harvey. So if your daughter of the age of 22 dates a man of 49, and he just so happened to be, I don't know, Puff Daddy, how would you feel as a father or mother? Let us know below, but he definitely...
Who's the dad?
The daddy is Steve Harvey.
Oh, Steve Harvey's daughter is dating...
Used to date, I think they just broke up, or they're trying to work things out, but was dating Puff Daddy.
And Nick Cannon is receiving backlash because he didn't approve of it?
Someone, I guess he was in an interview, someone asked him about it, and I think it was a Vlad TV or something like that, and he basically said that he would feel like he failed as a father.
Oh, well, I don't agree with that.
Yeah. So, but they were saying to him that Mariah Carey was 11 years older than him.
Well, exactly.
But I will say this, 11 years versus, I want more than the 20, that's almost 25-year difference.
You can't help who you love. Maybe I would feel different if I were a parent and it was my child. I don't know for certain because I don't have any children. You do, though, so.
I have 4, and I would say... I will probably grab my rifle and be on the lookout. So,
all right, you've heard it there, straight from the father.
And that's all the news and gossip that we have for you today. Thank you, guys.
All right. Well, thank you for that. So let's get right into our predictions.
And now, your AfterBuzz TV.
Yes, we've got our predictions. Only 5 acts are going to get through tomorrow for the live results. I have my top 5 acts. I'm going to go ahead and give that to you right now. So these are my top 5 acts that are going to get through. And they are, in no particular order, Benicio Bryant, Cody Lee, the Massaudi brothers, Tyler Butler Figueroa, and this one was hard for me. I had the choir down in Dove Choir over Light Balance Kids. I am confused as to which one will go through, but I did put Light Balance Kids because I thought they were at the end of the show, and I thought that they got a better feedback from the judges than the choir did. I'm between those two, because I did actually love the choir tonight. Who are your top 5?
My top 5 is...
Drum roll!
I thought you was going to keep going. Cody Lee up in his house.
All right.
The Youth Choir for sure.
Okay.
The Massaudi brothers and Robert Finley. And Greg, the voice dude.
And Greg Morton. So we've have two
differences.
Maybe 3. Now, I want the choir to go through, but I don't. It's hard for me to take out. I think Benicio's going to go through. I would.
See, I think Benicio got a better chance of
than
running.
Tyler.
Yeah.
I think Tyler's going to go through. I think the Cody Lee's definitely going to go through, and the Massaudi brothers. Benicio, Light Balance Kids, and Dove Youth Choir, and then you have Robert Finley down, and who else?
Greg Morton.
I don't think Greg Morton's going to go through.
Yeah.
But I don't really think Robert Finley's going to go
But
through.
our
either.
three, we have Cody Lee, Youth
Yes.
Choir, Massaudi Brothers.
Yes, there's just so much going through. We're just going through this. But, guys, hit us with your Instagram and your Twitter and everything that people can find you on, Antoine.
My Twitter, none of your business, but Instagram is simply different 87. www.AntoineBaynes.com. Go ahead, Rachel.
All right, and I'm Rachel Swindler. You can find me on Instagram at Rachel Swindler or on Twitter at Rachie Swin. We loved being here with you guys today, talking everything America's Got Talent. Be sure to check in next week with us. We'll be having our second semifinals. You're not going to want to miss it. We'll see you next week, guys.
Our founder, Kevin Undergaro, and me, Maria Menounos, would like to thank you for tuning in to AfterBuzz TV. Remember, we're not just the first, we're the biggest in the world, and we're the only destination for all your favorite TV shows. Whatever you crave, we've got it. So go to AfterBuzzTV.com and check out our lineup. Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.